Tonight, the deliberation is over. The Democratic ticket is set. Vice President Kamala Harris names her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, as the two kick off a battleground campaign blitz. And all along the East Coast, storms bring relentless rain, life-threatening flooding, and travel chaos. Just moments ago in Philadelphia, Harris and Walz appeared together for the first time. Walz, a second-term governor, former congressman, veteran, and high school football coach, calls his selection the honor of a lifetime, saying he's all in. Walz beat out other prominent Democrats on the Veep shortlist, including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Former President Trump and running mate J.D. Vance immediately pouncing on the pick. Rachel Scott is standing by from the campaign trail. Debby slams the southeast coast with deadly force and potentially historic flooding. More than a foot of rain in parts of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas, with much more to come. Multiple reported tornadoes. A single mom fortunate to be alive after a tree crushed her house. Where Debby is heading next, Victor Oquendo and Ginger Z in the storm zone. The effects of Debby and another system are creating travel chaos in the Northeast. Ground stops at major airports prompting the delays and cancellations of thousands of flights. The arrest in an alleged plot to kill former President Trump. What we're learning about the suspect and his alleged ties to Iran. What the Secret Service did in response. Aaron Katersky with late reporting. A terrible tragedy. An SUV crashes into a canal, killing 9 people, including 6 children. The emergency declared. Frightening moments as a passenger jet lands on malfunctioning nose gear. Team USA shines bright in Paris. The American women head to the gold medal game with a nail-biter. Gabby Thomas is golden on the track. The amazing finish in the men's 1500. And a whale steals the show at the surfing competition in Tahiti. And we get a sneak peek at the pandas about to make their big debut in America, where you can find them starting this week.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Lindsay Davis in for David. Tonight, the speculation is over. The Democratic ticket now complete. With her campaign barely 2 weeks old, today Vice President Kamala Harris made her most consequential decision so far, naming Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Just moments ago, they made their debut during a rally in Philadelphia. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz side by side for the first time in front of about 12,000 cheering supporters. Walz, a progressive governor, considered a dark horse, chosen after a quick vetting process, managing to edge out popular Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Walz is a retired Army National Guard member, also a former high school teacher and football and basketball coach. The Trump campaign immediately going on the attack, calling him a liberal extremist. But top Democrats were quick to embrace the new add to the ticket. President Biden calling Governor Walz a powerful voice for the middle class. Walz is already credited with changing the tone of the race with just one word. ABC's Rachel Scott leads us off from Philadelphia.
Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris introducing her new running mate.
Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz joining Harris on stage in Philadelphia before a crowd of thousands, calling it the honor of a lifetime, saying he's all in.
I couldn't be prouder to be on this ticket and to help Vice President Harris become what we all know is very, very good for us to think about. Next President of the United States of America.
Supporters lining up hours before their first joint appearance. It's been just 16 days since Harris became a candidate.
We are the underdogs in this race, but we have the momentum, and I know exactly what we are up against.
Harris making the call this morning.
I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate, and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
Crowds cheering as Walz left his St. Paul home this morning, flying to Philadelphia to join Harris on a blitz through the battleground states. The decision came down to the wire. Her campaign printing multiple signs with the names of different contenders. Among the finalists, popular Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and Arizona Senator and former astronaut Mark Kelly. But in the end, Walz and Harris really hit it off. Walz grew up in rural Nebraska, served 24 years in the Army National Guard. He moved to Minnesota, his wife Gwen's home state. taught high school social studies, coached the football team. In 2007, Walz unseated a Republican, serving 6 terms in Congress. The 2-term governor codifying abortion rights in the state after the fall of Roe v. Wade, enacting gun safety legislation, and guaranteeing free lunches in public schools. Walz laughing off criticism his record is too liberal.
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own health care decisions.
Walz and his wife have 2 children, Gus and Hope. Hope, a fixture on Walz's social media.
Hi, Minnesota. Governor Walz here, along with
Hope. Walz's star rising in Democratic circles in recent days after he coined a new line of attack against Republicans.
These are weird people on the other side. These guys are just weird. That's who they are.
Calling them weird.
They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. That's what it comes down to. And don't, get sugarcoating this. These are weird ideas.
Tonight, the Trump campaign calling Walz a liberal extremist.
And again, the biggest problem with the Tim Walz pick, it's not Tim Walz himself, it's what it says about Kamala Harris. That when given an opportunity, she will bend the knee to the most radical elements of her party.
Senator J.D. Vance on a tour of his own through the battleground states, saying he reached out to his new rival.
I actually called Tim Walz. I left a voicemail. I didn't get him. But I just said, look, congratulations. Look forward to a robust conversation and enjoy the ride.
Let's get right to Rachel Scott, who is at the Harris-Walz rally in Philadelphia. And Rachel, it seems the Harris campaign is really banking on the Walz, helping to deliver voters in key battleground states in the Midwest and in Pennsylvania.
Including winning that state championship.
Exactly, Lindsay. In fact, this Democratic ticket, Vice President Kamala Harris, Governor Walz, they're continuing their swing through the battleground states, next heading to Wisconsin and Michigan. A source close to the vetting process telling me they believe that Walz will appeal to those Midwestern blue-collar voters in those critical states that they need to win. Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris says they're already seeing momentum in those states. As for former President Donald Trump, well, tonight I'm told that his campaign is relieved that it is not Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro on the ticket. But at the same time, the former president has been fuming on social media that President Joe Biden is out of this race, Lindsay.
Lots of excitement in that room. Rachel, thank you. We move on now to the life-threatening flood risk and a tornado watch in the south. Tropical Storm Debby unleashing relentless rain from Georgia to North Carolina. Flash flood alerts stretch across several states, potentially historic flooding in some areas for the next several days. The rain is expected to keep falling through Thursday. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in South Carolina.
Tonight, flash floods swamping the low country. Debby sitting over the southeast, unleashing a relentless torrent of rain on the Carolina coast. In downtown Charleston, over 8 inches of rain already, overtaking streets and businesses, pumps struggling to keep up. Debby's winds howling overnight, a reported tornado damaging homes in Edisto Beach. A confirmed tornado touching down just north of Charleston.
Here in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, this Arby's was destroyed. All the furniture that was inside, tables, chairs, blown out. There is shattered glass everywhere. And that is the air conditioning unit. It was up on the roof. Now it's in the middle of the parking lot.
In Savannah, Shakina Conyers and her 4 children are okay after this massive tree crushed their home.
I don't want to start crying. First, my kids is my everything. And as a single mama, it's hard, raising 4 kids on your own.
Georgia's governor warning residents it's not over yet.
Do not let this storm lull you to sleep.
Debby surged ashore early Monday in Florida's Big Bend, packing 80-mile-an-hour winds. Dumping more than 1.5 feet of rain in Sarasota, officials rescuing more than 500 people from flooded homes. And tonight, many neighborhoods across the storm zone remain underwater, and you can see it's filthy. State officials warning the flooding could last for weeks.
Streets here in Charleston are still underwater. South Carolina's governor saying that 100 National Guardsmen and women are ready to go, and more will likely be called up with this rain expected to last for the next several days. Lindsay?
Victor Oquendo for us. Thank you. The slow-moving storm is expected to dump as much as 25 inches of rain in some areas. And we're also tracking severe storms in the Northeast. Let's get right to ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, in Myrtle Beach. Hi, Ginger.
Lindsay, Debby has stopped to more than a crawl, only moving east-northeast at 3 miles per hour. It's been hanging out around Savannah, at least the center of it, but that big rain shield and all the threats go way far north, up into North Carolina. So look at the tornado watch that we're in right now in Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, up to Morehead City. That goes till 1 a.m. We're also going to end up seeing the flash flood warnings extend. And look, when it goes back over water during tomorrow, it will eat up that warm ocean water and it will even intensify again. So it could be a strong tropical storm before making another landfall Wednesday night into Thursday. See how heavy that shield of rain is, Charlotte, back to nearly Greenville? So don't sleep on it, even if you're away from the coast, because heavy rains will move up through Virginia and eventually Washington, D.C. by Thursday night. Potentially historic flooding, up to 25-inch totals still possible before this trough kicks Debby and the rest of it out for the weekend. Speaking of the Northeast, look at that. New York City back over to Ohio. We've had plenty of tornado warnings. Flash flooding could be an issue yet tonight, too, Lindsay.
Ginger Z for us. Thanks so much, Ginger. And tonight, those severe storms along the East Coast are wreaking havoc with the airlines. Thousands of flights canceled or delayed today. At least 5 airports issuing ground stops. Let's get right to ABC's Trevor Ault at Newark International Airport for us. What's the latest, Trevor?
Well, Lindsay, this is now day 3 of relentless disruptions. And just since Sunday, we've had more than 30,000 delays and cancellations at airports across the country. I mean, just look at the cancellations. 2,400 on Sunday, 1,800 yesterday, 1,300 and counting today. Because as we heard from Ginger, this is not just Debby causing problems. We've had these persistent thunderstorms in the Midwest and especially in the Northeast. Look at where we've had on the Northeast ground stops at major airports, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City up to Boston. That's just today, and especially today, New York City and its 3 main airports, including here at Newark, have been hit the hardest in the country, and there could be more ground stops through the evening, Lindsay.
All right, Trevor Ault for us. Thanks so much. Tonight, the Justice Department is revealing a suspect with ties to Iran has been arrested, accused of plotting to assassinate government officials in the U.S. Sources tell ABC News Donald Trump was among the potential targets. The suspect, a Pakistani national, is accused of trying to recruit hitmen. He was arrested the day before the shooting at Trump's rally. Here's ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, a Pakistani man with alleged ties to Iran is in federal custody, charged with plotting to assassinate U.S. officials from both political parties, including, sources say, former President Trump. Prosecutors say a Asif merchant had just spent time in Iran before he flew to the U.S. in April.
In June of this year, the defendant met with several individuals in New York who he thought were hitmen, but who were in fact undercover law enforcement officers.
Agents following Merchant from Texas to New York. Court records include this image of Merchant allegedly gaming out the assassination plot on a napkin, and this image of the code words prosecutors say Merchant used to describe the scheme. Sources tell ABC News no final target had been decided by the time Merchant was arrested as he prepared to leave the country July 12th, 1 day before a gunman opened fire on Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. There's no connection to the Butler shooting, but U.S. officials have known Iran has been threatening Trump's life ever since the U.S. killed top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in 2020. And Merchant's arrest may help explain why the Secret Service made last-minute security adjustments to Trump's rally in Butler.
We evaluated a threat stream that we have, and we put our Secret Service counter-sniper personnel out there. And looking back, it was very fortunate that we did.
Iran denied it had anything to do with the alleged assassination plot that was revealed today, Lindsay, but Attorney General Garland made clear threats from Iran are only going to continue. Lindsay? Aaron Katersky reporting. Aaron, thank you. News tonight about the attack on U.S. troops in Iraq. 5 American service members and 2 contractors are wounded. A U.S. official confirms at least 2 rockets were fired at the airbase. The attack comes as the Mideast remains on high alert for a possible strike on Israel from Iran. In response, the U.S. Navy is sending in a squadron of F-18 fighters to the region. ABC's Tom Sophie Burridge reports from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, new details on that targeted rocket attack on U.S. service members in Iraq. 5 U.S. troops and 2 contractors injured when at least 2 rockets, likely fired by an Iranian-backed militia, hit the Al-Assad airbase, say U.S. officials.
Make no mistake, the United States will not tolerate attacks on our personnel in the region.
With the Middle East on edge, President Biden carefully weighing a response. But today, Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, vowing to avenge the death of a top commander killed by an Israeli airstrike in Beirut last week. Moments before Nasrallah spoke, IDF fighter jets above Beirut. Our Marcus Moore on the scene.
There was a quick reaction. People here were stunned, frightened, perhaps meant to send a message to Hezbollah.
Iran also promising to strike Israel to avenge another assassination, the political head of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, who was killed in Tehran. And Lindsay, news just in from the Pentagon. The U.S. now sending a squadron of F-18 fighter jets from an American aircraft carrier to an undisclosed airbase here in the Middle East to help defend Israel from a potential Iranian attack. Lindsay?
Tom Sufi Burge in Tel Aviv. Now to the Summer Games in Paris, the soccer showdown. The U.S. women's team heading to the finals with a chance at striking gold. Here's ABC's James Longman.
A major victory for U.S. women's soccer tonight. The team heading to a gold medal match for the first time since the 2012 Games in London. Sophia Smith with an overtime goal to defeat Germany. And for the first time in these games, Team USA overtaking China with the most goals, with 2 electric wins on the track.
Gabby Thomas comes off the turn with force, with power.
Gabby Thomas way out in front to take gold in the 200 metres. Brittany Brown was in bronze. And a shock win in the 1500-metre final. Cole Hocker setting a new Olympic record. Yared Nuguse winning bronze. And after days of storm delays, Caroline Marks took gold in the surfing final in Tahiti. But it was a whale stealing the show earlier in the day. Photographer Jerome Bruyere capturing this stunning moment. A humpback breaching near a competition. Bruyere is the same photographer who captured this viral image, surfer and board suspended in the air. And Lindsay, a big moment tomorrow for Team USA's Noah Lyles. He won the gold in the 100-metre in that dramatic photo finish. He has the semi-finals of the 200 metres tomorrow. It is his main event, and he says he wants to beat Usain Bolt's world record. Lindsay?
Let's see if he can do it. James, thank you. When we come back, the terrible car crash and the investigation in South Florida and tense moments in the skies. A passenger jet declares an emergency due to a hydraulic issue landing on malfunctioning nose gear. Next tonight, authorities are investigating a horrific crash in Palm Beach County, Florida. 9 people were killed, including 6 children, when their SUV crashed into a canal. 1 passenger survived. The driver apparently lost control. The vehicle crashed into the guardrail and then flipped over into the water. Tense moments for passengers and crew aboard a Horizon Airlines flight. The plane, which was operated by Alaska Airlines, was diverted to Portland, declaring an emergency mid-flight after experiencing a hydraulic issue and possible loss of steering. The jet's front tire can be seen visibly shaking as it taxis down the runway. No one on board was hurt. The FAA is now investigating. When we come back, the actor from the series Billions, a rising young star, arrested for murder. To the index now. Authorities in Texas say Billions actor Akili McDowell has been arrested and charged with murder in the shooting of a 20-year-old man. McDowell was taken into custody on Thursday and remains in jail on a $400,000 bond. The actor, who was the lead in David Makes Man, is set to be arraigned in October. When we come back, a sneak peek at America's newest giant pandas, where you can find them starting this week. Finally tonight, America's new giant pandas about to make their big debut, and we have a sneak peek. Tonight, these 2 giant pandas, the newest residents of the San Diego Zoo, the first to arrive from China in 21 years, making their official public debut this Thursday. But tonight, a sneak peek. The team cleaning the windows, bringing out the bamboo. This is 5-year-old Yoon Schwan enjoying a bite of his bamboo, and then with an appetite for leaves. And this is 3-year-old Sin Bao climbing up on her wooden platform, looking right at us, then settling down for some rest. Tensions in U.S.-China relations temporarily paused the panda lending program. Tonight, the so-called panda diplomacy has resumed and is being celebrated in both countries.
Welcome to the San Diego Zoo.
Dr. Megan Owen, Vice President of Conservation Science at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, is proud to have pandas back at the zoo.
It's very important to have the giant pandas here. Each guest that comes through our gates has an opportunity to experience wildlife in an up-close and personal way, which we feel builds empathy for wildlife and a connection to the natural world.
These bears are here for a very important conservation reason.
Paul Barabalt, president of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, shares the importance of their conservation effort.
We get to work with wildlife here to protect their brothers in the field. One of the things that we do here with the giant panda is we focus on making sure that these 2 bears are contributing to the future of their species.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis. For David and all of us here, good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.